Okay, Jack, this is a little video to explain what I do with the revenue report and how my worksheet works. It's a little different. It's not dramatically different than what you're used to, I don't believe, but let's see. And everybody has a different way of doing Excel. So I'm just going to show my way, and we'll see what happens. If you have any questions, certainly give me a call. But I'm going to open up the September worksheet because that's the last worksheet that I have, and that's the September revenue report. I want to make an initial statement that the calculator page feeds the ongoing, which feeds the submission. Okay, so once you end up putting things in the calculator page, it will go to what's called the ongoing page, and then it would go to the submission. So the first step in the process, though, once I open the worksheet, is to go to the ongoing page. In this page, the first thing I do is I copy this formula over to the next month for the revenue and the units. So the previous month's revenue and units formula gets copied. And just so you know, you have to make a little change here. This is cell AI, and this is cell AJ. And that needs to continue to be the same. So I, delete, and J. Okay. So now that I've copied that, I can now freeze these numbers. I don't want to delete them, but I want to freeze them. And right to the line 39, which is the former. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to copy, and then I'm just going to paste over it. And the paste is the special values. So I want to convert the formulas to values, and there's probably hotkeys and things that, like I said, everybody does everything different in Excel. This is just the way I do it. So at any rate, I've converted these formulas to values. And now I have my formula here that I could just copy right down. And then I have to copy the formula from here to former. I could probably just close these lines too now that I think about it. But at any rate, just so you know, it doesn't work exactly right in this particular row. You've got to change it to row 35 because that's how it picks up on the calculator sheet. Row 35 for former. Okay, and now that's complete. Of course, these aren't the revenue numbers because this is feeding on the next page, which is the calculator page. And the calculator page has all the revenue in it from the revenue report, but also there's a little trick to it. But the first thing you do when you get to the calculator page is you zero it out. And the way to zero it out, right up to the formula here, right up to the total, the way you zero it out, and you zero it out right down to line 36, make sure you don't zero out columns AI and AJ because that's the feeder column into the ongoing sheet, if you recall. But the way you zero out is you right-click and clear contents. The reason for that is because there's formulas for not only totaling the revenue itself, but also totaling the units. And I'll explain how that works because that works a little different. Let's say that I gave you a $3,000 referral and there were 2 units. I'm sorry. I put 3,000. You generated $3,000 worth of revenue with 2 people. So if that's the case, I'm going to put 3,000 in for you, and I'm also going to put in a 0. The 0 actually calculates the units. So as you can see, the revenue that you referred is 3,000, and you referred 2 units. That's already automatically calculated. The way we count units is with zeros. Most of the zeros, I'll go ahead and clear this out. Most of the zeros, believe it or not, and most of the units are in the former. For example, I think Peter will have something like $6,000 and 12 units. Well, keep in mind that the 6,000 already records as 1 unit, and then you go, oops, and then you have the other units. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this would be an example of 6,012 units. That's how I count the units. So the units have a formula and the dollars have a formula, and that's how that works. By the way, many times the former units go over the first line, and instead of creating new columns, which I probably should have, I just let it extend to line 36 and put the units and dollars, if there are dollars there as well. And there it is, counting it right there, 16, except right from that number, not from this one. Okay. So I should clear contents. I shouldn't just delete. Oops. Clear contents. That's all set. Now, I'm going to show you something else in a second. But I don't think this particular total line, I know it doesn't feed. The final feed into the ongoing worksheet is right here, line 35. So everything totals into line 35 in both rows. Okay. Now that this is zeroed out, I want to show you that the ongoing is zeroed out for October. And as you put units, and we'll just put your unit in there again, we'll just put $3,000 revenue for you. As you can see, that feeds into the ongoing, and that ultimately feeds into the submission. The reason why this is yellow is because I have a conditional formatting in this column, right here, column B, and in this column, column D. The conditional formatting in this column is if somebody is over $5,000, their name gets bold-faced and the revenue gets bold-faced. If somebody is leading the whole chapter in revenue for a month, then this lights up, goes yellow, just like this goes yellow. So I just wanted to point that out. They were all yellow before when they were zeroed out because everybody was tied for first or last, whatever it is. So I wanted to point that out. This will all format correctly. You don't have to worry about manually bold-facing the people over $5,000. It does it automatically. Okay, next step. What I do at the very end, after everything gets put into the calculator worksheet, now clear this out now. After everything gets put into the calculator worksheet, I do a little reconciliation where I go back to the submission sheet, take a look at this total right here. Oh, I'm sorry, right here in cell B42, and I add up all the sheets manually, all the revenue reports manually to tie the revenue, actual revenue report submissions into this number. So, and sometimes there's reconciling differences, and I forget why, but I think it has to do with members like Bob McNeil or something like that. To be honest with you, I'm trying to remember. I have had some reconciling items before, but by and large, the total of the sheet should tie to this number. So I wanted to mention that. And let's see. Okay, then I go to the submission sheet and I change these dates. This is kind of standard stuff. So I would change this to October. Whoops. Oh my God. Okay. And then I'd change this to October. Now notice this one has a formula. Okay, when I change this one, it changes this one. I go ahead and I put the date as of, and it's the date before the meeting that I announced the revenue report. So in this case, it'll probably be like 11/27. So I put that 11/27/12 in here, and when I do that, this one changes automatically. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out. Let's see what else there is. Now, of course, I saved all of the Bob Tennant weekly reports to be able to fill in this information. If you need any of them, let me know. But that's how I fill in this particular information for absences and visitors, and I do that manually. So I believe I've changed all the titles. I've changed the dates. That part's all set. Last year. let's see. Let's do that. Last year, so you can see here, I've got this worksheet called 2011 results, and that's the feeder into last year. So this is showing September's results, monthly and year to date, and it's feeding off of. Let me look at that again. It's R, column R. So here's September revenue, and here's September year to date. I want it to translate to this column, October revenue and October year to date. So the way I would do that is just change the formula. All I have to do is change the column, and let me just see what the column is real quick. Results. It's column T. So I would change from column R to column T, and then the year-to-date one, I'd change again from column R to column T. And now I have my year-to-dates in for 2011, my information for 2011. And then these percentages are a formula and calculate automatically. The revenue per seat calculates automatically when you put the number of members in. Now we're down to 22, so I'm going to change that. This is just a check digit. This digit should equal this total. When it doesn't, something screwed up within the formulas. But it's just a check digit. It's kind of a little Mickey Mouse, but it's just something I use. But it really means that this equals this. And of course, the printing of the revenue report goes to line 49. So this stuff underneath that never shows. Okay, what else we got? Okay, the next step is the beneficiary report. This is the referred revenue. I'm sorry, this is the recipient, whoever the recipient is. So I take the revenue reports. Now, as you can see, it's a 12-month rolling schedule. So I'm going to change this particular year to 12, so that October of 2012. Then I'm going to zero out. I can do that just by zero out October, and then I'm going to take the bottom lines of everybody's revenue report. That's all you have to do because it's the recipient. Take the bottom lines of everybody's revenue report and go ahead and fill those in. And I'll fill them in manually. And then and then the totals pick up. And this is a rolling 12-month beneficiary report. So that's how I do that. And once again, if I didn't mention it, all of these are formatted already, so there's no need to boldface. That's all done for you. And a little yellow highlight will highlight the highest revenue in October, or highest revenue in the current month, as well as the highest revenue on a year-to-date basis. Is already all formatted. And I think that's it. So if you have any questions, let me know, Jack. But that's my little lesson for the day.